Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you here again today with me. So the big beautiful bill under President Donald J. Trump has just passed congressional approval and has just been signed into law on the 249th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America on July 4th. So Donald Trump has just signed the bill and it has become an act, and Americans are not happy. Today with me are a few of the very many reactions of what America thinks of the newly assented bill and how majority of them will be affected in the near future by this new law. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Trump's big ashy-ass bill has been passed. And I just want to say, before y'all start with the kumbaya, this is not the time to point fingers, we need to all come together, that's not going to happen. I'm pointing fingers. I don't know what y'all going to do, but I'm pointing fingers because there are specific people who are responsible for this. To all the people that rallied behind Trump during this election blindly because of their overwhelming support for all of the isms, misogyny, bigotry, and all of those things, you are to blame. You're to blame. You're going to be the reason that millions of Americans no longer have access to health care or food. To all the people who voted for him because you thought he was talking to you when he said that there would be financial gain, but you're now realizing that he's actually talking about the people who are already rich, absent of the color of your skin, you are to blame. To all the people who refused to vote for Kamala Harris because she was a black woman, and let's call a spade, and you could not see a black woman or a woman at that running the country, you are to blame. To all the people who thought they were standing on business or trying to be divisive by convincing people not to vote for Kamala Harris because you believe she supports genocide abroad, but you did not think about what would actually happen inside the country that you currently live in, where plenty of marginalized people are being hurt, are not eating, and are missing out on healthcare every day, you are to blame. Now there are millions of people in our country with disabilities and who identify as senior citizens who will no longer have access to the care they need to simply live or to simply eat. And the rich will be getting tax breaks that are unbelievable for absolutely no reason at all. Tax breaks on taxes that they can afford to pay and are choosing not to because they want to preserve their wealth and watch the poor suffer. The truth is that y'all will let racism and misogyny prevail every time, because that's more important to you than the lives of the most vulnerable people in our country.
That bill is passed. Over $900 billion in Medicaid cuts. SNAP is being cut. Student loans, Pell Grants, harder to get. ICE is about to be the biggest law enforcement group in the country. ICE. There's $100 trillion going to the defense, and the 1% is about to live their best life like they've been doing this whole time. Hospitals are about to start shutting down, which some of them have already prepared to start shutting down. It's going to be harder for a lot of people now. A lot of people are about to die. And that's not even a joke. And it makes me sad because a lot of y'all MAGA people, y'all voted for this man because he was a white man. And he had how many felonies and how many failed businesses, but it didn't matter. Because I would rather vote for the white man who has no experience and is not here for the whole American body than vote for a black woman who's had the experience her whole life and actually wanted us to do better. Wanted better for America. And for all the Republicans, y'all spineless POSs, y'all, I hope y'all get unseated. I really do. But for everybody else, we tried. We did the best we could. We did the best we could. Primaries is what's next. I'm taking a break. I need a break from this app. I need a break from everything. Because I feel like November all over again when Republicans were saying that, oh, Project 2025 isn't real. It's not real. It doesn't exist. And then turn around and after he won, it's real. And now they're saying, oh, we are touching Medicaid. Now they admit it after they passed the bill. So y'all dummies, y'all fell for it again. Congratulations, y'all screwed all of America.
Breaking news, Donald Trump's big ugly bill has passed Congress and will be signed into law by Trump any moment now. This bill is being described as the worst piece of legislation that has ever passed through the American Congress and the most expensive bill that has ever been signed into law. This bill is estimated to cost $4 trillion, so everybody that supports Trump because you were sold the lie he'd be good for the debt, guess what? You're wrong. And this bill is also expected to cut healthcare benefits for millions of Americans, food stamps or SNAP benefits for millions of Americans, and student aid for millions of college students. Not to mention, it rolls back a lot of the clean energy subsidies passed by the Biden-Harris administration, which is expected to increase the price of your energy by around $400 per year per household. And according to estimates from the University of Pennsylvania, if you make around or under $51,000 per year, which is roughly the average American, you'll be paying more in taxes. This bill is going to have devastating effects on America. In fact, it may be what finally pushes us over the edge and ensures that the next generation will have a lower quality of life than the generation before them. It's an awfully sad day for America, but that's all for now. I'll keep you guys posted.
Well, the Republican Senate just passed Trump's big, beautiful bill today, which has been described as the worst bill in the history of the United States. And it very much appears, as Elon said, they're now casting you into a future of being a debt slave. Or for many of you, they're throwing your future away. Locking in being the first generation in American history that will live a life that is harder than the one that your parents lived. According to experts, it looks like nearly 20 million people are going to lose their health care due to Medicaid cuts, and your health care premiums will rise by $26,000 a year. They're ending food assistance for the poor and have sentenced rural hospitals to death. I mean, you had Democrats proposing an amendment to the bill to make sure that veterans, kids, and the homeless aren't denied food assistance, and Republicans voted against it. They blocked it. And so you have critics of the bill out there saying, the air that we breathe, it's going to be smoggy and unbreathable because they're killing renewables and investing in burning coal again. The power blackouts are going to become a more normal affair in America, and you're going to have to pay more for that power as well. And now whites, who many have said are acting like a secret police, are going to have secret police-like numbers thanks to the bill. Many of you watching are also going to have to pay more in taxes than you did last year, but also, think of the billionaires who get their break in taxes. Or at least that's a positive. And hey, I'll get some pushback now, but in the future, when you're slowly watching your parents die of cancer or Alzheimer's, make sure to thank Republicans and Donald Trump for not only getting rid of breakthrough cures, but also making sure that they had no health care. And on that list of people you can thank Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, who got her state exempt from all of this bullshit in order to vote for it. Right? And that is, her defense for voting for it is that she hopes that the House doesn't pass it. Y'all, they fucking tricked half the...
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe at this point you have heard the reactions of just a few of the very many Americans about the big, beautiful act that has just passed into law. And judging from the sentiments of many people, we can see that Medicare will be heavily targeted. That is the Medicaid program responsible for offering affordable healthcare insurance to many Americans that may not be able to afford it in cash. $1 trillion approximately is going to be shelved from this critical program, and many Americans will be forced to pay out of pocket, especially the lower middle income Americans and the working class. Another aspect is that the renewable energy sector is going to suffer because the clean energy tax incentives that were introduced during the Biden administration in the Inflation Reduction Act, majority of it will be rolled back, and the fossil fuel industry is going to profit massively as a result. As we all can see, the solar industry, the wind energy industry, and most importantly, the electrical car industry is going to suffer big time. Another aspect is that the United States military will have its funding increased by $150 billion US, and also the ICE agency responsible for border patrol, for border law enforcement, and also the deportation of illegal migrants is going to have its funding increased from 10 billion to over 100 billion US. This will make it the largest law enforcement agency, the biggest funding in the US, And also the big beautiful bill is going to have the US debt ceiling increased by 5 trillion US dollars. So there are very many pros as well as cons, but the majority of Americans outside are not happy with this bill, and majority of them have taken to social platforms to air their grievances at this time that they have just celebrated the 4th of July celebrations commemorating the 249th anniversary of the United States founding. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have liked this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up, and if you are new here or you have been here and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us a lot and it goes further to make the channel grow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day ahead. Cheers.